it's Patty. Thanks for joining me again. I'm here to show you another card that I made using the Celebrate Sunflower stamp set and the sunflower dies that go along with it. I'm actually not using the stamp set except for on the inside of the card. My sentiment is from something else, but I absolutely love this die, this one right here. It's the detail layer, and then I have a background layer that I used with this die. So I also want to just highlight the Plaid Tidings paper, and that's where I got this sheet. It's Rich Razzleberry and Mango Melody, and that's kind of where I got my cards from, or my colors from. So this is really pretty. It's great for fall. You could do Christmas with it. There's all these great plaids. I love plaid, so some of them are a little too bright and light for me, but I like this dark one. And let me just show you the other side. See, I'm cutting it out. I use this to do some acorns. I thought that was cute. So it's really pretty plaids, though. Okay, so that's enough on that. Let's get started. I also, the big thing is I wanted to show you the new emboss and die cut machine from Stampin' Up. So here it is. Since I am a demonstrator, I was able to get this early. You'll be able to purchase it if you want in September. And there will be a mini that's not out yet, and that'll use that you can use for smaller dies, and then the little embossing folders that we have. So it says Stampin' Up on it, and it closes up nicely, and then you just open each side just like that. And then the plates, they're numbered, which is really nice, and it has the sandwich on it. There's instructions with it, but this is your base, and it tells you if you're doing dies that you're going to use a 1, a 2, and 2 3s. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to put that one down, and then this is number 2. And if you're doing embossing, it says do not use with embossing folders. So there's some good information, and then the die plates 3, so you get 2 of them. So we're going to put one down first, and we're going to, I'm jumping ahead of myself because I'm so excited about this machine, but for this I'm going to cut it with the Mango Melody. Okay, but before I do that, I want to use one of these adhesive sheets, and you get 12 of them, and there's, I think they're 6 by 12. Let's just see. They are, yep, 6 by 12. You get 12 of them, and these are double-sided adhesive. So they're really cool to use. And if you're using something that's very thin and you don't want to have to get glue or adhesive all around it, you can back it before you cut it with one of these sheets. So let me just pull this off. So this is actually the sticky part. And I'm just going to try not to touch it too much. I usually cut this a little bit smaller than the piece. So this actually is 3.5 by 3.5. So I cut this just like, I don't know, a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch shorter, so that I'm not hanging over the sides. And I'm just going to lay this down. And it's okay if it doesn't meet. There'll be plenty of adhesive on it. So now I'll do this. So I'm going to cut it this way, put this down, put my top plate on, and just run it through. I love the handle here. I love this handle. It seems like it's a little bit wider. A lot of times I'd have my plates on crooked, and it was very tight in my old machine. So now I'm going to take this off, and it will be all cut out. I'm going to put this aside for a second, and we're going to do the rest of our cutting. So let me just get rid of some of these. Okay, so now I want to also cut the background layer, and I'm doing that in Saffron, and I'll use this piece. And we'll just crank this through, and then I just have a couple more that I'll do. I usually do my die cutting off camera, but I wanted you to see how nice this cuts. It's a little noisy, but that's okay. So we'll put this aside, and we'll take this, and then I just have a couple more, and we'll kind of breeze right through that. I wanted to cut some with vellum, some of these. So these little things. So I have to do 3 of these. So I'll do these. I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch. But here I am cutting up my plates. I hate that. But you have to do what you have to do. And one more thing, I have to cut a little circle for the center of the flower. Okay, so our cutting is done. Let's get this guy, and we'll put this back. We'll close this up. So these just close up. They're a little loud. Sorry. I'll put that aside. Okay. So now back to our card. We have our pieces cut. I have my card base as well. So that's Rich Razzleberry, and then the Mango Melody, and this beautiful plaid. So we'll put those together. The stamp that I'm using is from the Many Mates, and it says "Just Thinking of You." I like that, and I liked it for that spot. So what I'm going to do is I'll stamp it in Rich Razzleberry, and then I'm going to punch it out with this rectangle postage stamp, or punch, not a stamp, a punch. So let's close that up. So this is the rectangle postage, so it looks like a stamp here, the postage, and I'm just going to unlock it and then feed it through here. And I want it, the sentiment to be toward the top so that I can put that bow on. So let's do that. We've got that done. And then let's go back to our flower. So if you can keep your flower in the die, let's see, let's do it this way. Well, it kind of popped out, but there it is. If you keep it in the die and then you run the brush over it, it will just pop everything out. It's harder to do it if it's out of the die, but this really just kind of fell out anyway, so it made it easy. So let me just get my tool here and just pop these out. But everything really pops out nicely. Okay, so we'll put that aside. We'll put this aside. And when I have those 2 papers, or 2 of the adhesive things, I had a little gap here, and that helps me peel it. And there's actually a couple still hanging out there. Let's just get those out. And it is a little thicker because I have that backing on, but it really just cuts very nicely. So let's put this together, the flower. And what I try to do is line up, there's a couple of them that are facing that way. So that helps you line it up. I mean, you could just kind of rotate it around until you find it, but find a couple of pieces that are different than the rest of the flower. So we're going to just take this off the backing, and it makes it like a sticker. So this will just peel right off. And if you don't have these sheets, you can just use your liquid glue or the fine tip glue, or something that you can get really on these little tiny areas. So now I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to look for these that are kind of facing that way, and try to line it up before I go down with it. So that is the way it lines up. And it is a little bit forgiving here, so it doesn't adhere completely where you can't move it, which is nice. Okay, and then just press it down. So we have that. Let's get our liquid glue and put the center down. Stay put there. And I just put a little glue around here and put this right in the center. Okay, and let's put all our layers down. We can go directly down with them. So I'm just going to put a little glue, whatever adhesive you want. I was using the new adhesive, and I go back and forth with it. When I have very tight layers, I like to use the liquid glue because I like to move it around. And I do like a tight, small border. Isn't that pretty? Wouldn't that be great for Christmas? So we'll just put this down. Get that centered. So I love the way the melody, or the mango melody, just kind of pops out behind it. So then with these, let me just put this on. These are kind of curled up a little bit, and you can just kind of use something to curl them back. They ended up popping up anyway here, and that's okay. And we'll just kind of, I love this vellum cardstock. It's really, it's delicate, but it's not that delicate. You can really, you know, bend it a little bit. So I'm just going to line this all up, see where I want it. I want to make sure these don't go outside of the frame of the card, and get them in place, see if this looks okay. I like to really get everything lined up before I adhere them down. So this looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit down further. So now what I'm doing, whoops, I picked it up, but I think that's okay. I'm just going to keep moving them around, I guess. So I'm just going to Scotch tape these down. You could put adhesive down on the bottom underneath and then stick them to it, but I found this is just easier. So let's just make sure these are still lined up okay. That looks good, right? All right, and then we will get our dimensionals and we'll put them down. But isn't that adhesive sheet? I love it. It cuts really nicely, and it makes it so easy to stick something down that I would have a hard time gluing all these little skinny areas. So let's get the backs off of these. This one. I knew I missed one. Okay. So let's just put this down right here. And I love how nice and soft they are. And then we can put this down also with the dimensionals. And I am using the Very Vanilla, not Whisper White on this, because I thought the Whisper White was too stark for this. So I like having, sometimes using Very Vanilla. Okay, and I just like to line it up on my grid paper, or grid area, just to help me get it straight. Now the bow, I'm using this embroidered ribbon. It's really pretty. It seems very natural to me. So I thought it would go good with this kind of a card. So I'll just tie a bow right on the spool, and then I'll cut it when I'm done. And it's a pretty small bow. Maybe a little bit smaller. So I just fuss with it a little bit. Get it the size I want. And then we can cut it with my ribbon scissors. I like to keep scissors that are just for ribbon, so they don't get sticky, full of glue or anything like that. And then I'll just take a glue dot, and you can put glue dots besides just back here. If you have a unruly bow or tail, you could put it back there as well, or just for some extra adhesive on it. So if these were all getting wonky, you could put the glue dot back there. And then I didn't mention this, but this is one of the cards that it opens this way. Usually we open them this way, but I just find these stand up better. So I like to make my cards. So it's really each is a half. So that would be a full sheet of 8.5 by 11. I cut it at 4 1/4 and score it at 5.5. It's just a different kind of opening. You could do it whichever way you like. So now I want to do my inside layer. Let me get my inside layer. And all I'm doing is stamping this twice. I didn't put an inside sentiment. You could on here, I don't know, you could put, let's see, just thinking of you because you make me smile, life is better with you, you're so nice. I just left it blank because I don't really know who I'm giving it to. So we'll see. I may add a sentiment at another point in time, but right now I'm sentiment free. So I'll just put this, and this is the Rich Razzleberry. I thought that was very pretty, and I'll just put one up on each side. Okay, probably got some here. I should have used a scrap. Oh well, I'm a little bit of a mess sometimes, but that's okay. That's what happens when you are doing crafting, right? You get a little messy. So let's put this on. Open up the card. And just get it centered. Okay, and that's it. I think they're both really pretty. I love the colors on it, and I love sunflowers, so right up my alley. All right, thanks a lot for joining me, and you guys have a good day. Bye.